Welcome back to 23rd Garage. Today we are working on this 2012?
2017.
Oh, my bad. 2017 Honda Accord.
30K miles.
He said 30K miles.
He had to mention the miles, but it doesn't even have a power plant.
Yeah, it doesn't have, it doesn't even have a motor.
Hey, but the suspension has 30,000. You see that engine melt?
Yeah.
Kind of destroyed, bro. Like, what were you bidding on?
I was bidding on a 2017 Honda Accord.
Well, the motor was hiding the damage.
This is some very intense damage. Like, look at that frame rail. You know,
Gone.
destroyed. Luckily, the rack and
The
pinions.
subframe's bad too.
Look at back here. It's good that it didn't smash anything back here. That shows you how strong these Hondas are.
Yeah, look at this AC line. You see, it's
You can
1.2 millimeter thick, but look, it didn't even get a kink in it. That's stronger than that frame rail.
Yeah. Be careful.
Oh shoot!
All right, hey, guys, can you guys give me a hand?
Okay, let's go.
Scrap pile.
This is from you or your?
Dude, look at this dog, bro.
Wait, what happened with the truck? How'd you get that fixed?
I didn't get it fixed.
Where's it at?
It's at my house. I broke the drive shaft.
Oh, you got it towed back?
I drove it in 4x4. Oh shoot! Nice. No engine, but we got it. Nice.
Dude.
Look at that glove, dude.
Wow.
Oh,
Could have broke your
man.
finger if he was going the other way.
Bro, I gotta go wrap this thing up. All right, so I put the car up on clamps and I'm actually going to go ahead and add as many chains as I can as well, simply because it is gonna be a pretty hard pull and we don't want this thing moving at all. So I'm gonna add the chains, and while I do that, Nate's gonna go ahead and strip the area all around this around this frame rail. That way we can, you know, work without stuff being in the way. right, so we got our chains on the car, and Nate has did a wonderful job of getting everything out of the way here. Next thing I want to do is I need to create a pulling attachment on the end of this rail. Since it is going to be removed, we can strictly weld to it. We don't have to try to bolt anything on. So I'm going to take this plate right here and weld it on like this, and then we'll weld our chain to this plate. But before I weld the plate on, I'm going to weld up these edges right here solid and weld this up real good. That way everything is nice and solid and stays together as we pull. So I'm gonna do that real quick. All right, so as you guys can see, I added another piece up top. It was Nate's idea. It was actually one of the drops from a sign that V-Tune made. It was a V-Tune sign, and this is the U from the drop. And it worked perfectly because now, as you guys can see, it's welded around here, and plus it's welded to this pinch weld, and then I've got the pinch weld welded, and then that's welded to this piece, and this piece is welded to that piece, and that piece is welded to that piece, and then this piece is welded to this piece, so all the pieces are welded to the pieces. And I think that it will hold. I'm hoping that this doesn't break off, but I did this is like 4 separate welds. So I started it with one weld, then another one, and so it's 4 of them, and then I welded that, and I think it's pretty good because this car is really not that strong, I guess. I mean, it's strong. Not saying the car is not strong, but it's not it's not a Chevy frame, you know? So, what do you think, Nate? Want to try to put a little quick pull on it and see what happens? All right. Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, sir.
Look inside there, it all came out. All that was bound up.
What?
Right there, that part behind the apron, behind the shock tower, all that was pushed in.
It came out a good bit, I must say. Came out a pretty good bit. Just needs a little bit more, what's it called? A little bit more intimidation.
I think you need to tap it from this side down.
Right here?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That's a very good observation.
Get this.
Hey, I know a guy that would just Bondo this up and call it a day. Might have to call him later. All right, so now I think we need to give it some more pulling. You see that kink right there still got to come out.
Yeah. I think you need to pull that actual shock tower.
The actual tower itself?
With that L, with the boat anchor.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll put a boat anchor on it, you know. Hey, bro, you know, I have a good idea, Nate. Look, all we have to do now is put everything back together and put it right back on IAA. Everybody else is doing it these days. Why don't we do it? We would never do that, ladies and gentlemen. That is not us. We've never done that, not even once. So, you know, for those of you that do it, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. All right, I'm gonna hit it right here. Straightened out, I must say. Pretty straightened out. All right. Yeah. You ready for this, Nate? Man, it's almost too good to be true how all this came out, bro. Something's wrong. Something ain't right somewhere. Something's going on. Police are coming. Something's wrong. Need a smaller hammer for that. Like that. All right, so as you guys can see, we did our final pull, and we may have done a little something to this here hook. As you guys can see, that's not a grade 8 bolt in there, so that is why it sheared off. And it also even bent this hook wide open. And this hook right here is actually this is the best hook we have, so it's kind of bittersweet. It's sweet because I like when it breaks up. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, we are ready to cut this thing off. I don't know if we will be cutting it off today. What do you think, Nate? Probably not.
I don't know.
I know you said we're not going to leave until we weld this thing in today, but I don't want to rush this job. This is for Vlad. I want to do a very good job on it. I want to come in on a fresh head, you know, cut this thing off, drill it out, because it's already, what is it? It's already 3:52, you know. I got places to be, bro. Can't be out here just breaking hooks and chains and stuff. But it came out very good. Like I said before, I've seen people fix stuff like this. Like I literally know a guy right now. If you pulled this out for him like this, he'd weld this up, he'd weld that up, he'd put urethane glue all over everything, he'd drop the motor back in it, and then he'd sell it for $18,500. I promise you. That's why I don't even deal with that guy. But what are we gonna do, Nate? We're gonna take it loose over there?
Take what?
The frame rail?
Yeah, off the firewall where all that seam sealer is.
Yeah, so we're gonna completely remove this this frame rail at the factory attachment points. And what that will do is basically give us a chance to weld the new one in back at the factory attachment points, so we don't have to sit there and cut it, because you see all the time people will be lazy with stuff like this and they'll cut it right here, and then, you know, you're lucky if you know how to fit up a rail without leaving a gap. But most people I see, they'll have like a gap of like a 1 inch, and they start shoving metal in there and welding it. And as you're doing that, it's shrinking that rail in, because when you weld, it shrinks, and it just opens up a whole opportunity of issues. So we're not going to do any of that. We are going to remove all the factory spot welds on the firewall, and then on the strut tower here, we'll remove all the factory spot welds here on the upper apron. And this upper apron piece, we'll do it in 2 pieces. We'll remove this outer skin right here. That way we can weld everything up real nice inside, get everything sprayed in with weld through primer. And we got people over there interrupting us. Nate, we need a little recording sign, you know, a red recording sign right there that says recording.
Yeah.
Because a lot of inconsiderate people around here, man. What else we got left? Oh yeah, we need to drop this subframe. That's gonna be a job in itself. I'm very interested to see, like, when we drop this subframe, is the other one gonna bolt right back up? And I kind of want to do that before we cut this rail off.
Yeah, I say that's what we do, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do, because then that's going to give us an idea. Another thing I want to do right now, I want to measure the square on this bad boy. Let's do that. So we're going to measure the bad side first, and then we'll measure the good side, which this side is not necessarily good, but that's pretty bad. But see, I knew that this was going to happen, because here's the thing. Anytime a frame rail gets punched dead on, the energy that transfers this way, it always pushes everything that way. And had this rail not been so badly pushed in, I would have never removed the core support, and I would have pulled everything together on over. But right now it's just a simple matter of pulling both the rails over to the right, which you can tell simply by looking at this frame rail right here, that that's what needs to happen. All right, so this one's gonna go over here, and we are going to insert it inside here. You want to hook the furthest one away from the tower and get it tight. And I mean, you gotta be kind of strong, you know. You gotta have at least 2 Mr. Olympia competitions under your belt. Nate, put a slight pull on it, please. All right, let it off. Yes, not too fast, but. You gotta be very delicate. You gotta be very delicate with the areas that are not gonna be replaced because you don't want to damage anything. You just want to give it some sweet vibrations. Did you release that all the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it's pretty much dead on. There's really no reason to be worried about a square right now since the state of this rail is as such, but it's good to have it, you know, as close as possible. One thing I did forget to measure and kind of feel dumb for not doing it is this right here. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So now all we have to do is pull this out and the square will line up. But obviously we don't have to do that because we're replacing this, we're replacing the rail. But now we know that this rail is in its relative spot. We're not going to be worried about it being perfect right now because what will happen is once we get this new rail fitted up, we will put on the new core support, the new rebar, we'll set the square. Once everything is perfectly aligned, then we'll weld everything together and we'll be good to go. And if that rail is a little bit off, we'll give it a tweak and that's it. So for right now, I think we're done. That's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you enjoy the content, hit that like button. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button if you wanna see how this job it turns out. And also check us out on Instagram at 23rd_garage. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.